connected to internet, but if I had the internet off on this, it would actually go into Street Pass mode, which is what I really want to talk about, which is Street Pass, which is something that is very unique to the system and makes this a social gaming system. So in Street Pass, every game that you put in the system has a way to actually implement Street Pass, and what this does is when you have your system closed and in sleep mode, or even when you're playing it, Street Pass mode is active, which means if anybody passes you on the street, or if you're just like playing with your friends, there's data that gets swapped in between the systems. So the biggest thing you'd see would be in the Mi Plaza. So if I go into the Mi Plaza now, I've actually come across people, Jesse at work, other people in the airport, things like that, and then their Mi's are actually transferred over to me, which is really cool. Has some information about them and things like that. So you can see up here, I've actually seen these few people. I can get details on them, what they've been playing. So for instance, Jesse's been playing Professor Layton recently. I've seen him 7 times. But with this, what is cool is that when you actually pass them, they actually have mini games built into the system. So you have Puzzle Swap and Find Me, which is actually an RPG built into the system. So Puzzle Swap's cool because when you're crossing people, you can actually change pictures and see them in 3D, and you get puzzle pieces and things like that. The RPG is really cool because every time you meet somebody, you actually level up their character. It's a very stripped down baseline RPG, but still really, really cool. Now, these features you do have to turn on, and I think that's the most confusing part of the system, is that people don't actually understand it. So something cool, you just kind of have to find it. That's the thing. So some other cool Street Pass things, obviously Street Fighter, you have these like mini collectible things, kind of like Street Fighter, where you pass, you assemble a team, and then that team fights. Ridge Racer is really cool. I haven't really found anyone yet to Street Pass with, but you can actually download ghost data between people. So that's really cool as well. But I think the biggest thing is really the me things here and passing things. So you get notifications and things like that on the system. So if I actually had Street Pass information, you'd actually see like a green dot, notifications. So actually all my notifications would be up in here telling me what's there. So I've actually read all my Street Pass things. But at any time when I'm connected to the internet, I can actually just go in here. So it's like a little notification bar, which is really relatively cool. Also, there's a lot of other things built into the system besides the Mi Creator, which is helping you build stuff. You have this really cool Face Raider games where you take pictures of people's faces, and it actually puts them on this ball, and it actually becomes an interactive 3D space, which is something that's really unique to the system. You also have an activity log, so you can actually see different statistics about the games that you've been playing, what other people have been playing, how many feet you've been taking, how many steps you've been taking. It's relatively pretty interesting. It's just something that's built in, and it's like, why not have it? So you can see graphs and charts of when you're playing the most, what games you're playing the most, and what's most popular on your day, on the different days. But the coolest feature, I will say by far, besides other stuff that's built in, obviously settings and DS download play is still there, is the AR card games, which by far is the coolest thing. So you take this AR card, and it comes with a bunch of different cards in here, but the most important is the question mark card, because that really initiates everything. So when you go in to the system, it'll ask you to go ahead and actually, let's see if I can do this. There's me in the camera. It'll tell you to do all these steps. It's like, hey, do all this stuff. So it says, go ahead and try to find the AR card. Let's see if it can do it. It's going to find it here. It's going to tell me to move about 14 inches away. Okay, so I've measured and says I'm about a good distance. You can actually print off these cards and make things bigger. But now, what's actually going on is everything's kind of going in real time. So if I shoot this guy, I'm going to do it so you can see. I shoot him, he's going to turn into a bunch of different mini games that I can actually play. I can actually use those, so now this is all in real time. So as you can see, like I'm actually moving the camera or the 3DS, and things are actually happening here, which is really, really cool. You can find some of this stuff for the your Android or iPhone, but this is actually really cool because it's just built in. So that's relatively really cool, and there's a lot of cool mini games, and I think is the best, kind of the best, coolest features of this. And you can actually unlock more games with those points that I was telling you about. So I will say the system so far, I'm really impressed. I think the weight is a little bit more than the DSi, which is a little bit disappointing. I think they'll definitely redesign it. I'll definitely buy the redesign of it for sure. Some things are still missing, like the internet browser, also a way to transfer games from my DSi, which is a little disappointing at launch. But they are coming, they said, by the end of May, I think, so that's cool. The games are really pretty. The graphics are really great. I think they have capabilities similar to like more than the N64. So if you watch the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time video, you can see just the improvements that the game definitely has. It's really pushing the system to the limits. It's really powerful, big improvement over the DSi. I think it's a really powerful system. Battery life is all right, I would say. You're looking at about anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, depending on kind of what you're doing in the game. If you have the Wi-Fi on, I always have the Wi-Fi on, and if you have the 3D on or not, things like that. So if I just kind of go around here, the analog stick is really nice. I think it seems to work really well. It's a lot better than what was on the PSP, that's for sure. I'm sure the new NGP or whatever it's called will be an enhancement on top of whatever the current PSP is, but I think the NGP is just going to be too big. It just looks so big in the hand. I have been able to fit this in my pocket, so if I actually take it, and you can actually put it in your pocket, definitely does stick out a little bit, but I have been known to walk around the mall with it in my pocket or elsewhere. But overall, I'm really impressed. I'm going to definitely break this video into 2 parts, a part 1 and a part 2, but definitely really impressed with the system. I wish it was a little bit lighter weight, a little bit thinner, but I feel like there's so much potential in this system, and I really hope people really figure it out. I think the biggest problem right now is definitely people figuring out the system and knowing what's all in there. So, for instance, for like the Nintendo 3DS Sound, there's a Street Pass where you can actually send different music data across. You can see what kind of your friends are listening to. Like I said, the Mi Plaza, you're passing Me. There's the RPG game that's built into it, the Picture Pass. Then obviously the Street Fighter game and any other game that has the Street Pass functionality. It's actually really cool. I mean, it's something that makes me want to take my 3DS with me wherever I go, because not only am I getting the steps and I'm getting the coins, it makes me want to bring my system with me. I never had a handheld that I said, yeah, I'm not even planning on playing this, but I want to take it with me just for the chance that maybe, just maybe, I'll get some Street Pass stuff. So when I was in the airport, I got one. Definitely here, I feel like since I'm in Timisoara, not a lot of people have the 3DS. I think it's about $450 here, and I think I saw one at Altex, which is the bigger electronics store here in the mall, and they did sell it, but I don't see any more, and it doesn't look like anyone bought any games. So I think I'll definitely be a little sad until I get back in the States and have more people to Street Pass with. But everyone that I put this in their hands is really impressed. I gave this to my mom to play the AR games. She loved it. There's one where you get to fight this dragon. She was all happy about it. So that's really cool. The camera is actually really nice. Some games integrate with the camera, so like Face Raiders will actually take pictures of what you're doing and things like that. But it's really cool to see 3D pictures. I think sometimes they kind of feel a little fake. But again, there's a lot of potential here on the system. The cameras are just 0.3 megapixels, so you are looking at just VGA like resolution on it. But I think there's so much in this system, especially with the Street Pass, especially with the internet. You're getting updates from Nintendo, and I think once they have the web browser built in, once they have the transfer to go from the DSi, like all your download games will be able to be played on here. Once the eShop comes in, that's obviously really missing. So I feel like Nintendo pushed it out, and they just pushed it out a little bit early. So I really wish that, I really hope that people don't look at the system, say it's $250, and just say it's too much, because there's so much built into it. There's so much potential, and the 3D is really cool. And I really think that the 3D is not even the biggest selling point. The biggest selling point is all these additional features that are just built in. Like, I could just buy the system today without Street Fighter or without Ridge Racer, and I'd be really happy with everything that's built in with the AR games, Face Raiders, the Mi Plaza stuff, and just playing Pokemon, to be honest with you. Obviously, Pokemon White, so cool. And this has the IR built in, which can take advantage of the Pokemon game. But I guess that's about it for this review. It's going on about 20 minutes. As I said, this will be 2 different videos, a part 1 and a part 2. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have a full write-up. I don't think I'll write too much about it, mostly just a video review. But so far, so good. I really like it, and I can't stop playing it. So again, this is James from thedigitalmediazone.com. Don't forget to check out my podcast, me and Michael, every single Tuesday, Movie Podcast. Moviepodcast.net is the location. We do the latest reviews, previews of all the new disc and theatrical releases, so check us out, www.moviepodcast.net and twitter.com/themoviepodcast or facebook.com/themoviepodcast. Again, James for the Digital Media Zone. Bye.